Hello fellow humans, welcome to the highlight series where now we only have Asian teams left to admire this world. But no matter, they still have plenty of good League of Legends to offer. Well, in fact, most people might say even more so than the Western teams at the moment. And this one in particular, I wanted to check out the second Grubs fight, which I think T1 played really interestingly and really cleanly. And, well, frankly, I think kind of implausibly, so I really wanted to show you guys that. And, well, since this is the highlight, also how we got there. And the first thing to take note of in this game is this face check by Zeus, which, to be completely honest with you, I don't entirely understand. I would suspect that this is some scout work by GenG, which let them be ready for Zeus walking in, perhaps going for some late ward on top side. But yeah, either way, nice work by them. And at least one little bit of action before we get into the inevitable LCK routine, which, if you've watched a bunch of LCK, you know that is just full clearing, not really fighting all too much, not really kills happening in the early game, especially because we have two junglers in the game that both really care about hitting level 6 and playing with the ultimates. And one interesting thing to take note of here is Kenyon's jungle path, where he does what I like to call the level 5 clear, of him starting Raptors, then going Wolf's Grump, and then clearing up. And initially you might be a bit confused why you would clear like this, but the main reason is you get to clear all your minor camps first, or most of them, and so that lets you play instantly after taking Scuttle your minor camps again. And so that way you actually get a pretty quick level 5, hence the naming. And as you can see, Canyon just clears his entire jungle, goes for the grab. Especially since he can't fight bot crab, it's nice that this clear lets him exit towards the top side. And then would be hard to fight crab against a pretty strong bot lane of Ashranata. And so, as you can see, his Raptors is now back up, his Wolves are about to spawn, and then his Scorpions is about to spawn. He will clear all of those before even resetting. And then in more aggressive jungle matchups, perhaps he couldn't get away with this because he would get invaded, and, well, he's pretty weak on the map right now, but in this game it just doesn't really matter because Owen does not really have any options to punish him for it. And yeah, he also proceeds to place a little ward onto Raptors, make sure to get his team some info. He proceeds to take his grump, and now both teams set up for their respective objective of interest. For T1, you can see that it's very clearly the Grubs, as they send Guma and Carrier to the mid lane in a second, and are looking to just set those up for themselves. Zeus takes some trades in the top lane in a moment as well, and GenG obliges and say, hey, we're fine with giving you these first Grubs, we will just taking a Drake in exchange. Fair trade, and everyone walks away happy, right? And, well, T1 kind of agrees. They're like, you know what, maybe we might just dive this Jax guy, but actually, bro has Counter-Strike, that's kind of hard to gank, so maybe we can take this camp, but Canyon's having none of it, as you can see. Man is just moving towards his top side as fast as he can, and so yeah, Honor is forced to go out and go back to his camps. And now T1 proceed to play a pretty nice trap here, where you can see, okay, Guma and Carrier were just showing on top side, right? And from GenG's perspective, you would now think that they are base, they perhaps swap back and move somewhere else on the map. And, well, that's what T1 would usually do, emphasis on usually, because, well, if you're 100% sure that that's what your opponent is thinking, then you can just do what T1 are doing here, which is wait for Keen to use his Counter-Strike and then bomb him with Ash Arrow into Vi ult, into Renata Handshake, into nice kill. So T1 take full advantage of that. Very nice tempo trap by them. And from here, the game continues in classic LCK fashion once more. Canyon now the only jungler on the map left with a Playmaker ult up, so he would be looking for some things, but sadly for him, it's actually pretty hard to find access onto anyone. The only real good target in the Ashe is standing pretty safely under mid-tier 1, potentially backed up by Team 1 members, not to the knowledge of GenG, so can't really go for a dive on that. So GenG proceed to just take some control around the soon-to-be spawning second Grubs here, and when I started seeing this control, like GenG just walking in, placing control wards, clearing T1 vision, I was like, wait, GenG just take these Grubs, T1 are gonna take the Drake probably, and we just keep having standard LCK gameplay of trading objectives, nothing happens, and then eventually we teamfight, right? Well, wrong. And you're gonna see in a second here that T1 actually go to retake this topside vision. Zeus takes some aggressive trades, backed up by Owner, making sure that he is safe despite Canyon's presence. And then T1 just walk into the Grubs and decides to start it with Owner and Carrier. And at this moment, I really thought, well, this is one of those to be continued, you know, screenshots taken before disaster. This is what it felt like. You have Paze, the Hens, Keen, Canyon, everyone's just ready to pounce on poor old Owner and Carrier. And like, what are they going to do to get out of this? Well, watch this. I'm actually going to turn this into half speed to see what both of them do. So they're immediately aware of their pickle, right? So Owner decides to just ult Keen to get out. And he actually abuses the unstoppable part from his ult here to buffer Lens's engage and just flash out. And so our man is just completely safe here. And now you might think, well, what about Carrier? Doesn't he just get killed here? And well, turns out no, because he is Renata, and he just presses hostile takeover, gets some solid CC down. And now, what does GenG do? Pace is about to get blocked here by the grab spawns. Then Canyon rather could be ulting in here somewhere, but at that point would probably just get ground up by T1, who still have all spells ready. Faker TP is coming in as well. Guma is about to join the fight too, so plenty of damage available for T1. So at this point, GenG are just kind of in full retreat because the engage just fizzled out, wasn't coordinated enough, and just didn't have enough follow-up. And so T1 secure themselves a nice kill into Lehens here. Faker chases down Keen with his ults and, well, just generally being Akali. He places very nicely, min-maxing with his passive every time, finishing Keen off just with the last Q that he would get. And from this spot, T1 convert pretty ruthlessly, because, well, if you've seen previous T1 vid of mine, this might remind you of something. T1 take 6 grabs now, and look, your 4 members on top side, there's a juicy little 4-plate tower sitting here. What do you think that T1 going to do? Well, damn right, they're just going to smack this tower, take it down, get first tower and 4 plates to the names, and, well, now the top lane tower is down. This affords them with the opportunity to push top lane deep with Zeus here. You can see this man getting rid of this wave, recalling, opening into mid lane to make sure that both of these lanes are covered, while T1 move into bot lane S4 and do the exact same thing to the bot lane tower. Just standing here S4, hitting it with 6 grubs. Thing is melting, GenG can only answer S3 because they don't want to lose resources in other ways, right? And so T1 just take this with 2 waves, and at the end of the whole ordeal are left with a very comfy 3.5k gold lead here, after which it is, well, a pretty easy task for them to convert the game eventually, slowly but surely, and, well, just win a pretty nice game against GenG. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any feedback, do leave it in the comments. You can also find the link to my community Discord server there. We play educational in-houses, so if you are interested in competitive League of Legends and improving that yourself, you are very welcome to join them. And yeah, I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.